Hey, my name is Mike, and this is a too-long, didn't-read version of Tyrant Velhari on normal and heroic. Throughout the entire fight, the boss has 3 consistent abilities. Whoever gets this purple circle will take damage every 3 seconds for 9 seconds. This circle decreases every time they take damage. The damage is also split between everyone that's hit. Random people will get Touch of Harm, which is a healing absorption effect. If that player is going to die before you can heal it, just dispel it and it'll jump to another player. Tanks will have the healing done to them decreased by 10% with the Seal of Decay debuff, so swap for that. During phase 1, anytime you move, you take damage. The amount of damage you take increases as this phase goes on. A random person gets selected with Annihilating Strikes, and it does a frontal cone ability in their direction. Anyone that's hit by this will spawn a fire circle underneath them that explodes after 3 seconds. When the boss does Infernal Tempest, it does damage to anyone within 2 yards of you, and it also spawns these fire circles underneath you that you need to move out of. When Velhari gets to 90%, an ad will spawn. It spawns a red sphere in the direction it's facing. That sphere will go to the wall and then bounce back. Anyone that's hit by this takes damage, and they spawn a fire circle underneath them. During this phase, you want to get Velhari to 70% as fast as possible to start phase 2. The ad should almost be dead by the time you get to 70% just from cleave damage. In phase 2, you can't be healed above 80%. This amount gets lower and lower as this phase goes on. When the boss does Tainted Shadows, she does damage to you and everyone within 5 yards of you. So make sure you stay spread out. Random people will get a Font of Corruption debuff that makes them immune to the splash damage done by Tainted Shadows. These people should try to stack up for heals. When Velhari reaches 60%, another ad will spawn. This ad will cast Harbinger's Mending, which is a heal that needs to be interrupted. Each time this is interrupted, the cast speed of this is increased. Phase 3 starts at 40%. The damage you do is increased by 20%, and the damage you take is increased for 10% in this phase. These percents increase the longer this phase goes on. Bulwark of the Tyrant will hit the tank and a few random people. Every time this hits someone, it'll spawn a Shadow Void Zone on the ground. For this, you want to just pull the boss towards the wall, have your raid stack up in front of her, and just kite around the room every time a Shadow Void Zone drops. The boss will also do a raid-wide AoE knockback that applies a dot. When Velhari gets to 30%, the final ad will spawn. This ad decreases the damage the boss takes by 90%, and it needs to be burned. Defensive cooldowns can be used in phase 1 for Infernal Tempest, in phase 2 for Tainted Shadows, and in phase 3 for Bulwark of the Tyrant or the raid-wide AoE knockback. Offensive cooldowns can be used as needed, but make sure all of them are up for the last ad in phase 3. That was a too-long, didn't-read version of Tyrant Velhari on normal and heroic. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching and have an incredible day.